Hello. This is the contest. Fantasy Footy show where we change our entire team based on match simulations. Not overreacting at all. I'm Jesse. I like redraft up with K-Man. He's a dual hat winner. By your host, we like fantasy footy. You can follow K-Man on Twitter at K-Man_TC Fantasy. You can follow me on Twitter at Contest of Fantasy. K-Man, mate, how you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. I'm good. I've just come off a Night of the Seven Kingdoms finale for season 1. Have you checked it out?
Was it good? I still haven't watched it. No, I still haven't watched it.
You know what?
Yeah.
It was okay. It was. I was hoping for more. I was hoping for more.
Okay.
It was okay.
Is there a way you can tell me without spoiling anything what simmered you a little bit? Because you were very excited.
Yeah, look, the episode before, you know what it's like. The episode before the finale, the finish, you're just like, the next episode is going to be so great. And it just, I don't know, just felt
never quite is.
Yeah, it didn't. Just didn't hit the mark.
Yeah.
Love to hear what everyone thinks.
Yeah, me too. I need to know more. We are looking for a new show, but we're looking at starting The Burbs. Did you ever watch The Burbs in like the 80s? That movie with Tom Hanks? Yeah.
Oh man, that takes me back. Tom Hanks in the 80s doing comedy.
Well, it was like comedy horror. Yeah.
Right.
There's a TV show now. I think there's a
Splash.
series on Netflix of The Burbs. Oh,
Yeah, okay.
So I think I might watch that. We've been watching Clarkson's Farm. We just
Yes,
finished
you
season
did
4.
mention that.
So
at
good.
work. Is it good?
So good. Yeah, it's just easy watching, like brain dead watching an old fella run a farm and make you realize that you definitely don't want to do that for a living.
And what platform's that on? How are you watching that one?
Prime, Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
check it out.
we only have the month sub, so we're like running out of, we're like, well, we got to fill this month. But hey, I have a video to show you. Can I show this to you real quick? Because it made me laugh. I feel bad for the guy who came out with it. Okay, in AFL, we're very used to ACL injuries. Not sure how used to ACL injuries the poker community is.
Smith must catch a king.
There's the board. Can he escape?
It's a 10. Oh! Back-to-back double ups by Justin Smith, drawn out both times, man, to stay alive.
Oh no! Did he just do it? Oh no!
How's he gone and done that?
ACL from poker. That's hilarious.
That's gotta be a new one, doesn't it?
Oh, the high fives and then pop.
From total euphoria to, it reminds me of, who was the bloke who did his hammy on the toss pre-game last year
with the coin toss. That's right. I guess here's the question: you do your ACL in poker, you can come back next week, right?
Well, that's that's
It's not 12 months out of the game.
I don't think they hold their cards with their toes, so that they should be all right.
He'll be back.
He'll be fine. Oh man. The other thing I wanted to ask you about: did you see on, I don't know, Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media? Did you see Kane Corn's top 10 most under pressure figures in footy for 2026?
No, look, I don't tend to pay a lot of attention to King Corns.
That's fair.
I must admit, but I'm interested. What's the list? What do we
I can't blame you. It is at the bottom of the. I've put it there at the bottom of the run sheet.
Oh, there
for
we
you,
go.
But,
Yep.
Yeah. So number 1, Alistair Clarkson. Number 2, Greg Swan. Number 3, Michael Voss. Number 4, Andrew Dillon. Number 5, Charlie Curnow. Justin Longmuir at number 6, Ross Lyon number 7, Isaac Rankin at number 8.
One.
Josh Carr at number 9, and Tom de Koning at number 10. What do you think of that? Do you agree with that list broadly, or are there some wacky names in there?
There's some wacky ones, unless I'm completely out of the know. Isaac Rankin, Josh Carr.
I guess because of the suspension, mate, but surely people are past that now.
Yeah, okay. Number 3 is the big one for mine this year. That's my number 1.
Bossy. Yeah.
Look,
It's got to be.
you know, he left Brisbane. Well, he didn't leave Brisbane. He was asked to leave Brisbane. He was asked to leave Brisbane.
There is
Didn't
a
have
key
the
distinction
greatest-
there.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't have the greatest cattle, shall we say? But you
Fair
know,
point.
he went to a Carlton Football Club, one of the biggest clubs in the country in Australian sport. Did have some cattle, and perhaps hasn't met expectations. So, I think there's pressure on Michael Voss to deliver this year. How about you?
I totally agree. I thought there was pressure on him last year. I was, I never want to see anyone get fired, but I felt like going into last year, I wouldn't have been surprised if he lost the job, if they didn't do well and they backed him in, which probably a good thing, to be fair. Probably, get some continuity, give him one last crack. But I'm with you. I think he's definitely under the pump. Alistair Clarkson probably under the pump too at the Roos, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, if you compare them both, I mean, Alistair Clarkson's had a relatively young club and starved of finals footy since what? The mid to late 90s? Those poor North supporters. Yeah, didn't recruit well before his tenure. So I still think it's a little bit harsh, but I guess they've had some good draft picks in the last couple of years, haven't they, with McKercher, Sheasel.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, maybe we should see an elevation in North. Charlie Curnow, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Bit rough, isn't it? Wasn't he just injured all last year, basically?
Yeah. What's the pressure that he's turned his back on Carlton and seeked the shining lights of Sydney? I don't know what the pressure's for.
That must be. The name that actually stands out to me the most is Josh Carr at number 9. I'm like, first year as a coach.
Yeah,
I don't know. Let him have a couple years before he's under pressure, surely.
Yeah. Interesting list, Kane.
Yeah.
Interesting. Love to have you on the show.
Love to have you on the show. Well. Well. All right. Well, we got a great show lined up. We're going over K-Man's top takeaways and surprises from the practice matches. I'm going to react to these live because I didn't get a chance to watch as many of them. I saw the Carlton-Brisbane one, I saw the tail end of the Sydney one, and I saw a good half of the West Coast Eagles Freo one. But other than that, it was K-Man who was really doing the heavy lifting for the Contest Fantasy Footy show. And then after that, we're going to do a bit of a cage fight, a cage match between the last fantasy fights experience of 2026. We're going to do a cage match between some preseason bolters.
Yep.
The Undertaker. Yeah, well, I think he makes an appearance.
Kane,
actually.
the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Mankind.
Were you a Kane man or an Undertaker man?
Oh, you can't go past the Undertaker.
Yeah, he's too good.
Absolutely.
Too
that
cool.
many WrestleMania victories. Oh, just bring back the Attitude Era WWE. It was just prime time television. Absolutely.
Did you have all the DVDs? All the collection?
No, didn't really do the DVDs, but certainly did pay-per-view. I did some sneaky stay-at-home during WrestleMania stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely.
I had a friend who had all the DVDs. He had the collection, so he could go back and watch his favorite WrestleMania at any one time.
Awesome.
Wonder if he still has it. Anyway, we should before we get stuck in. If you dig the content, everyone, please remember to chuck us a follow and a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Really helps the show grow. And you can like, share, and subscribe over on YouTube because we have YouTube now. Hooray! Very exciting. Should we get stuck into it?
Yeah, let's do it. Hey,
let's do it. Take it away. Over to you, mate.
Yeah, well, I know you're going to hear it all week. Praccie matches, match simulation. It's not the real deal, but we did have a lot to look at, didn't we, with all of these matches? And we had some question marks going in. Have we answered some of these, or have we still got question marks? Was there some things that we liked in terms of role, potential upside, job security, all of those things? And I want to start. I'm going to change the order up, mate. I'm going to start with the Rucks. The Rucks, because we've had plenty of change in ruck structure this year with the Briggsy, maybe McAndrew, this particular practice match, or whether we go old, set, and forget. And a few things to come out was, I guess, firstly, the unimpressive nature of Tristan Sherry's practice match, who just got out-rucked by Big Heathy, the Moose. And we were worried about the ruck rules, but boy, just looked underdone. I know it's practice match, but not what you want when you're starting, which what we thought was a bit of a value pick with the start that he's got in the season. But what are your thoughts? Should we worry, or do we wait till next week? Or it wasn't great.
I saw the fourth quarter, I think, maybe the third quarter of this game. So I saw a snippet of it, and I saw a little bit of Tristan Sherry. My gut feeling is still my gut feeling from the beginning of the season, which is that he will be one of the top 3 to 5 rucks in the comp this year from a fantasy perspective. I sort of go back to last preseason when we both agreed that Tim English looked a bit underdone in the preseason. We were really worried about him. And so we actually kind of faded him in light of that. And then he kind of went on to, I think he came out weak with like a 60-something in week 1. And then pretty much after that, he was the golden pick. So I kind of look at this and I just go, I just wonder if he's not putting in his all. And if come season start, that fixture is just so juicy that I'd be really afraid to miss out on it, I think. But
I just would have liked, a dominant half, sit out the rest big fella.
Totally.
Bring in.
Well, when you're spending that much money, you want some level of assurity, don't you, that the player you're selecting is going to do what you expect him to do, that he's going to be a captain option for you, all that stuff. So totally get we don't want to see these big expensive guys not looking great.
There's such a difference between low time on ground and cruising, but still you know what you're going to get, as opposed to Sherry, who seemed to play the whole game and just get destroyed.
Yeah, right.
By a Heath, and you're like, oh, give me something, big fella. The next one, Briggsy, top scorer, started at full forward, had to snap 4 goals, has lost a lot of weight. And I know there must have been a conscious effort with the rule changes to be more mobile across the ground. When he did ruck, he rucked really well, but it was against a rookie in Collingwood who didn't have Darcy Cameron. So there was plenty of forward in that ruck forward split. And I know there's some concerns there for those who want to start a Briggs, but what are your thoughts? I've got a bit of an opinion, but I think it gave you the ick.
I've had the ick on Briggsy all preseason, mate.
For the last...
I think I've shown you. I think I've shown you one team version of mine that had Briggs in it,
and you changed it. You didn't like it.
I changed it immediately. I just don't want to mess around with the ruck line. Like, I think it's one of those things where if I don't select Briggs and it turns out that he was a really good value pick, I can accept that. I can be okay with that. I can cop it. But if I pick him feeling icky about it and then he cooks, he's cooked, that will kill me. I don't like that it took him 4 goals to get to his not super impressive score. Like top score, but not like outrageously high. It kind of gives me vibes again. Like I hark back to last year. Remember Miki got to, I think it was like 110 and we were all this close to starting him. But there was that point, I think he scored like 2 goals to help him get there. And then sure enough, throughout the year, he was a good draft ruck, but probably not like a classic guy. And I just worry about Briggsy. I didn't like what I saw out of him last year, and I'm worried he could do that again to coaches who pick him.
I'm really interested about this week because Collingwood had a very young side. It was clearly a couple of experienced guys, and the rest were, I think, fighting for positions with a lot of guns sitting this one out. So I'm hoping GWS recognised that and gave the young fella a go, Madden, and just said, look, you start young fella against this other ruck and see how you can fight for round 1. I still liked the way Briggsy rucks, but I think I need to see a score that he starts in the next couple of weeks. We get the round 0 opening watch as well. Look, a couple of youngsters, really impressive. Blackiston for Essendon. He's a lock for mine in my side. During the game, there was commentary that he is their number 1 ruck, and it's going to be very hard for Nick Bryan to come back and take that spot. Looked really good. Vertical leap. He won a lot of contested rucks. Good maneuver around the ground. And McAndrew, who's sitting on my R3. I know there's been a bit of a bit out there about maybe an R2, but seems to
You
have
can't do
taken.
it. You can't do it. You can't do it.
You reckon that's a G up?
Surely not. Not unless you're carrying 400K into round one, I reckon.
And has seemingly taken over from Rob. So
wow.
Just good value picks. Vicentini he didn't look great. He scored okay. In terms of a ruckman, I still think Jordan Sweet must be there and thereabouts. And what happens the next couple of weeks? Look, he was okay. But McAndrew and Blackiston, I thought, looked really good.
So I have a theory about what the true reason as to why McAndrew has allegedly overtaken Rob as the number one at Adelaide. Here's my theory. It's because McAndrew must have a better looking kicking motion than Riley O'Brien. I think the Adelaide Football Club have had enough of whatever that kicking motion is, of the weird toe poke, the arms out here. They've had enough. They're like, this can't be the face of our ruck room anymore. And McAndrew, he can kick a ball like someone who knows how to kick a ball.
You know what's funny? McAndrew's turned out to be the Rob of 5 years ago, where all of a sudden, who's this Riley O'Brien? He was the pick of the season, and McAndrew's taken the mantle. Very good point. Very good point.
Thank you.
And just to finish off, I think Luke Jackson looked really good. No, Sean Darcy. Yeah, he's sitting in my R2 at the moment. I'm playing around with things.
You've moved him up. You've moved Briggsy on. You've moved Briggsy on. He's been my R2 for a couple of weeks now. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm going to be fascinated by it. Hey, can we not share our teams with each other at all between now and team reveal?
Yeah,
can we let's do that? Because I am so excited to see what you do with your ruck line in the end.
I'm nervy.
Love it.
The second one was the plethora of mid prices that we just wanted to see. We just wanted to see something to go, Tech, stay there, big boy. And I got more questions than I do answers, I must admit. I know Praccie matches.
Not ideal.
Let's rattle some of these off. So Windsor, plenty of mid-time, but just seems to be used as this impact player. He didn't really accumulate. He still wound up in the back line, half forward. Concerns for mine that he didn't maximize that opportunity in the Praccie match just to get his hands on the ball, especially if you're trying to fight for that position. So that gave me a few question marks. What are your thoughts on a Windsor?
Yeah, look, and I went back and I actually watched a quarter and a half or so of the Melbourne game because it was actually a game with there were a lot of players that I wanted to see. Yeah. And Windsor had been in my team for a little while. He was at a nice price point where he kind of slotted into that back line. And I thought, if this works, this is going to be great. But he just didn't get enough of the pill for me to pick him. It's too risky. And this was kind of the fear through the preseason, wasn't it? Where it's one of those players who lights it up during training, but then as soon as there's actual football to play, it's not actually the role that he's going to get in there for. So,
Smoking Joe Frazier was the other one who all of a sudden has come out and said that he's been training as a mid. He's going to be a mid, Bont 2.0, but there was no Bont. There was no Treloar and there was no Richards. He was okay. But again, I walked away going, well, if you don't have a Bont, Treloar and Richards, I was expecting more, I must admit, even from a practice match where there was high points. There was high points scored in that game.
You'd want him to knock it out of the park, wouldn't you? You'd want him to do what Riley Sanders did last preseason. And I think that was with a couple of those guys in the team. So that's concerning for sure. And I just think such a deep midfield, man. Yeah. At the Dogs. Like Bont, Treloar, Richards, Libba, Kennedy, and then you've got Frazier, Sanders, these guys here. You just
Sanders played well.
I don't know. Yeah. He is a good player.
Good. Yeah.
We have
said that, haven't we?
Do you think if he was in a different team, like if he was in a shallower team, he actually could be like a fantasy stalwart for us?
Yeah. We talked about a couple of weeks ago, these good rookies going to underwhelming teams or teams who have finished bottom of the ladder. He's gone into a pretty well-established midfield. So to try and crack that as a young kid.
Tricky.
Perhaps if he was picked up somewhere else. The other Melbourne players of note, so Langford was probably the highest scorer out of those. But again, what I didn't like was the wing time. So a bit of midfield mix, but it was back on the wing, pretty similar to last year. So again, hoping to see a little bit more change, especially with that depleted midfield. And Rivers, predominantly halfback, some CBA time, but again, just didn't show something that we can really validate. Well, this could be a decent starting option with plenty of unders. And I just, for Melbourne, I just have more question marks besides Jack Steele.
So the name from Melbourne that I was really interested in was Xavier Lindsay. He spent a little bit of time in my team. Did he have any consistency in his role that you saw? Like, was he off halfback, or was he getting enough of the ball?
He was definitely halfback. I wouldn't say he was getting plenty of the ball, but the role was there. And he, out of all of them, he was the guy. I think I walked away from that match going, okay, at least I have some assurances that I think it's a fantasy-friendly role. And we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. So out of those Melbourne players, it was Lindsay for mine that I still think has opportunity as a starting pick. Pooh in the mid. Look, he may have some...
Pooh in the stands, Pooh on the field, Pooh in the mid.
Pooh had some midfield time. It might just take time, I think, to get back to AFL pace in the midfield. But the role was there, the clarity was there, and for that, he's still sitting in my forward line. Compared to Alayla, where I just didn't get any assurances, looked really exciting, but he was managed in the forward half, and that was pretty much expressed before that game that would happen.
Anything on Max Hall, your boy?
Looked fantastic. He looked fantastic. Okay. Scored really well. I think he was in the top 3 scorers for the game, in a high-scoring game again. And I think he's got that midfield role, but he also has that forward time split. And he did kick 4 goals. So whether it's going to be a Max Hall and Pooh rotation, where one spends time forward, the other one's in the mid. And if that's the case, I think Max Hall at least maximizes that opportunity up forward.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. He's spent a bit of time, and Pooh's in my forward line at the moment, but for 3 or 4 days there, I was toying around with Max Hall. He's a bit more expensive as well, so that has an impact on structure. So, interesting.
Just 2 more players to finish off. Brody, plenty of midfield time, but again, just didn't take that opportunity and run with it. And when you don't have a Wines, you don't have a Butters, again, there's just question marks that if something changes, is he going to be the first one out?
Yeah. And that's the flag with him, isn't it?
Yep.
Do you think he did enough, because he's so cheap, because he's like 450K or something like that? Did he do enough where you could select him and get maybe 80 to 100K of cash gen over a fortnight? Or would you be a bit nervy about picking him going, that's just not going to be enough, I'd rather not have to deal with having to pivot?
Well, I guess I'll go back to the criteria. He was picked from another club. They picked him for a reason. He spent all preseason in this midfield. First Praccie match, he's playing predominantly midfield and full-time midfield. I don't see any flags that is going to change. It's just whether he's going to score. And then when Wines comes back, what's that going to do? So I think for the first 5 rounds, we could see some changes in price cycle, especially if he comes out with that early run and maximizes that opportunity. So I still think for that price, he's a pretty good starting pick.
And can I ask you one more question about Melbourne, about a player that's not on this list? Is that's okay? Is Cozzy Pickett? So I think he came out with he scored like 129 or something, and I'd actually started to cool on Cozzy. But does he look like a guy that you reckon you could select in your forward line?
Geez, they both look good. The Picketts. Yeah, he just looks so express, so agile, and exactly what they need. Look, he was good. He still has to add some attacking element to their front half. So that still concerns me. My worry is he going to have the consistency to do that each week. And that's where I don't think a Cozzy
It's
can
tricky part.
do that. But that's just my only opinion based on what's happened in the last couple of years. So that's my only concern with Cozzy.
It's the flag for sure.
Foss spent a lot of time midfield and actually looked really, really good. Really good as a second-year player. He was thrust in there with not too many players not there, shall we say. I know there was no McKercher. I'd love to see another couple of weeks of him before opening round.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be good, wouldn't it? Especially, do you think like Foss is one of those ones? Do you think even like let's say we had some assurance going into opening round that he actually did have, or round one, sorry, that he actually did have a midfield role? Do you think coaches would struggle to pick him purely because of recency bias? Because last year he was just a dead rookie on their bench?
Yep, absolutely. Especially for a second-year player now to go from that half-back role and perhaps be a bit underwhelming to straight into the midfield, that would be a brave coach to pick that. And we were worried about Wardlaw, who seems to have done another injury. So I'm just interested. I'm just interested to see the next couple of weeks and see how it plays out.
Could be a fun one for sure.
The rookies. Man, this was interesting. So a lot of half-backers who we touted last week, some older players, I thought looked really, really good. So Jacques, Blackiston, Grill
Great
from
name.
Richmond. Which one? Jacques?
Jacques. Lochy Jacques.
That is
That's
a
my
correct,
French.
Is that what?
Sorry,
did you pick
French?
that up when you were over there?
We.
We poof poof.
Sorry if there's any French people listening.
Oh,
go on. Lucky Jacques.
Lindsay,
Blackiston.
once again, Lindsay looked really good. Farrow, man, I was impressed by Farrow. His left foot, his disposal efficiency for a rookie was highly impressive. So locking in some of those in the half-back line, and you talked about it with Vams last week that perhaps it is the back line where we can stack some of these rookies and add depth to other areas. Dev Rob looked really good, and it looks like he's got that role for round one in a midfield.
Yeah, for sure.
Lombard, who's been in my side pretty much since the app opened, looked really good on the wing, scored really well for Gold Coast. Our older boy Steele for Collingwood was second top scorer. He looked good. Jagger Smith, and we talked about Pickett and Newton. So mainly half-backers, some rookies that have a few preseasons under their belt, but it was good to see that we can perhaps start locking some of these rookies down. Any names I missed, do you reckon?
No names you missed. I will say, being at the Brisbane Carlton game, Jagger Smith, brother. Oh my goodness. There were two particular moments that stood out to me as well, where I sort of went, oh, and we were sitting like amongst some Carlton supporters as well, which is quite funny. But he picked both Dunkley's and Kitty's pocket. So like, I think it was, we were kind of on a bit of a roll up the corridor. We were on a bit of a handball chain. Kitty just had to pull off one more handball, and I reckon it was going to be like a walk-up goal. I can't remember to who, probably Bailey or Rayner or something. And out of nowhere, Jagger just zooms through, takes the ball midair from Kitty's handball, and I think it resulted in a Carlton goal. And he did the same thing to Dunkley, maybe like 15 minutes later or the next quarter or something. So that was awesome. You mentioned Farrow's left foot. How is his right foot any good? Did you?
I didn't really see the right foot. But in congestion, he just seemed very calm, composed, and he was able to hit targets. It was really cool to watch.
Great.
For such a young player. Look, we discussed it last week, the top draft picks and our concerns about paying that price, having little preseasons under their belt and how they would adapt to AFL level. You were at the Lions game. Annabelle looked like he struggled early.
We actually missed the first quarter. We missed the first quarter.
Okay.
Because we were late. But I'll have to take your word for that. Sorry, go on.
And I just think it's going to be. I think it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be hard to crack the team and stay in the team and actually have the ability for score build. So he's gone. He's out of my side.
Euland.
Euland, wing position, very similar.
Yeah.
And
oh, sorry, were you saying Annabelle is out of your side or Euland?
Yeah. The three of them.
I have none of these.
Side.
Yeah,
Annabelle,
I'm the same. I have none
Euland,
of these guys on my side.
Dersma. Yeah. Did you watch the West Coast game? What were your thoughts on Dersma?
I saw a good portion of it. Yeah, I thought there were a couple of times where he really showcased what we talked about this preseason with his speed. And I do think maybe as the season progresses and he finds his feet in the midfield, I think he will become quite good. Don't know if he'll become quite good from a fantasy perspective, but I think he'll be what they need in a real life role. But I'm with you. I just think Euland and Annabelle suffer from the teams that they're in terms of both Gold Coast and Brisbane are just so deep that you struggle to see exactly where they fit in and where they fit in terms of having like a fantasy friendly role. And and I think Dersma will suffer from the team he's in for the opposite reason, like West Coast just struggling a little bit. They won't be very good, unfortunately. I'm hoping he finds his feet a little later, but all three of them are super expensive. We've talked about this. It's just hard to pay that much money for these guys when actually there seem to be. I mean, look at this list of guys that you rattled off, like Jacques, Blackiston, Grill, Lindsay, Farrow, Devereaux, 6, 7, 8. There's like 9 different names there.
With some flexibility with DPP already.
Exactly.
Which is great.
So makes it hard. I will say about Annabelle, I think he will be an outstanding real life player. He had moments throughout that game where he really got involved in contests and he wasn't afraid to get involved in the contest. I think it was just the fact that the team he's in is so deep. He couldn't consistently put the performance together over like all 4 quarters.
Yep. You talked about teams, and I actually wanted to talk about West Coast because there were plenty of fantasy relevant players.
Yeah.
And McCarthy's been killing it in the preseason with plenty of mid-time. Again, during that game, he controlled the midfield for West Coast, obviously as best you can, being in a West Coast side against a pretty high-end Freo team. And to hear that he played really well and then only came out with 70-odd points concerned me. Yep. And again, Reed, huge impact, but again, only hitting 70-odd points and with a top scorer of Ryan Marrick at half-back with 78.
He looked good.
He looked great.
He looked really
It's
good.
not what you want to see, though, is it? A West Coast team where Ryan Marrick is your top scorer. I just wanted to see McCarthy and Reed do more than 70-odd points. Again, I know it's a practice match, but we talked about market share. And for them to play that well and only get that fantasy scoring, just reinforce they're going to struggle for points, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, and I've been the McCarthy guy this preseason, so he's been in and out of my team. He's no longer there as a result of that game. I felt like he was doing a bit of cardio. I was actually kind of surprised that he was one of the top scorers. When I was watching the game, I didn't feel like he was getting a ton of the pill. I thought like he was always around the contest, but maybe not impacting it. But it was just one of those funny games, I think, where maybe what you see doesn't quite translate to score. But and the interesting... I was just going to say the interesting thing about Marrick is there were so many outs in their defensive line too. Like I think Duggan wasn't playing. There were like 3 or 4 different names. So I don't think we could take anything away from his score either. So tricky.
Look, last one. This is going to be really quick, but it was just something I picked up. GWS is all about system. Boy, their system is impressive when they're in possession. So with all the injuries they have, it just seems that everyone knows the game style. And when there's a hole, someone fills it, and the game style doesn't shift. Their ability to change angles and lines through handball and kick transition at speed just seems to be this whole team collective. And those who reap the rewards of that on the weekend was obviously Clayton Oliver, Rouston, and Harvey Thomas. But when they click into gear, that tsunami... Everyone just seems to go and they go together, and it doesn't matter where the personnel issues are. They know what the game script is. That was really, really cool to see. Again, against a relatively young Collingwood side. But if we're looking at filling all those injuries, then a Harry Rouston does become relevant. And I think we're going to talk about him right now.
Yeah, what a segue. It's almost
what
like
a segue.
It's almost like you did that one on purpose, mate. Well done. Well done. Do we want to use the drop? We got the Fantasy Fights drop.
Yeah, that's cool. What are your thoughts on Oliver? Did you see much of that particular game?
No, I didn't see much of it. Sorry.
Right.
I have thoughts on Oliver in general, but I didn't see that yet.
Go for it. That damn delay.
Oh my God, that's so funny. It's like, no, be quiet. All I was going to say was...
Hey, Jesse, that sounds really good. But...
All I was going to say was when Tom Green went down, it made me a little bit less keen on Oliver because I see Clayton Oliver as the guy who's got to fill that Tom Green role. And that Tom Green role that he really shaped last year is not a fantasy friendly role. It's an in and under, get the ball out. It's an elite real life role, but it's not something that translates to really high scoring. And so I kind of felt like a Tom Green in there would give Clayton Oliver and Finn Callahan the space they needed to really rack up the pill. And with Green down, I think Oliver's going to be the guy they lean on to fill that. So it makes me less interested. Having said that, I just didn't watch enough of the game to really be able to comment. So did he look really good to you?
Clayton, I was frothing. 100%.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'd love to be wrong.
I liked it. Look, I think the difference between an Oliver and a Green is Oliver's thirst for follow-up. Green is great for in and under, and when he gets it out, it's almost like it's out. That was my role for that scenario, for that point in time. And now I trust my other players, and I get into supportive positions. Whereas Oliver is, I'll give to you, but I want it back, and then I want it back, and then I want it back, and then I want to make this tackle, and then I want it back, and then we're going to go. He just seems to have that extra, as I said, thirst for point scoring and to be involved and to transition. And I think there is that 10-point upside.
Probably going to be an element of being a prove it year for him as well. Hey, like he's going to want to come out and be like, hey, no, I'm still the guy. I'm still the man here. I can do this.
I'm still Clayton Oliver.
Yeah.
Fight!
There it is. That was beautifully timed. Perfect time. Nailed it. Now, usually with these fantasy fights, we fight each other.
That's it.
But we're not doing that. This time, it's the players fighting for a position in our team.
That's it.
We've got 4 names. We got 4 names. We got Will Brodie, Harry Rouston, Xavier Lindsay, and Finn O'Sullivan. So these are the 4 names that we're looking at where particularly like Will Brodie and Harry Rouston, given their price point, you might have to make a decision between. And then maybe Finn O'Sullivan, Xavier Lindsay, you might have to make a decision between in terms of fitting them into your side. So we've gone through and we've done like pros, flags, and questions associated with each of these guys. So let's start with Will Brodie, because I think he's the most popular name of these 4 options. He averaged 88 in the VFL last year when you remove that injury-affected 4-point game. I think it was a hammy that he'd done maybe. He averaged 94 playing midfield with 68% CBAs back in 2022 at Freo. So that's the season I think we're all referencing when we're looking at Will Brodie as like an option this year, going, well, we've seen what he can do. Why can't he do that again? And he did have the role that we were looking for, that midfield role during the Praccie match. He got a decent amount of the pill. He didn't blow it out of the park, but he has that role down pat, I suppose. Your flag that you've just mentioned, though, is that he didn't really take the bull by the horns in the way that we would have liked. And he is at that awkward price point of like 400 and something thousand, where he's kind of like the only option in the midfield line at that price point. Like last year we had Nevitt and Nod. This year we kind of have Brodie and then guys. Exactly. So that's not ideal. And then we've got that kind of leads into the Ollie Wines question of when Ollie Wines comes back from suspension, could he unseat him? What are your thoughts on Will Brodie? Like, I know you were really hot on him. Have you just cooled enough to push him out of your team for now?
Look, he's still there. And I go back to what I said earlier, that Port Adelaide have brought him in. He's been training there. He's been training the house down. it was always an element of fitness for Will Brodie. He was a high points per minute player who spent a lot of time on the bench. Lot of time on the bench. So that was my flag with this Praccie match is, although he spent a lot of time on ground, he didn't have that high points per minute. And has he improved his fitness base that much that he can sustain a 4-quarter in that midfield? So that was my flag, was it didn't seem to be the old very high points per minute Brodie. And if he's going to make money for that cheap price, I was hoping to see a bit more points from him. And if Ollie Wines comes back, Butters comes back, there's still a bit uncertainty about the splits for Rosie and Butters. I mean, we've heard rumblings that both of them at some stage could shift. I just wanted to see a bit more point scoring ability through him. And I don't want him to be handball happy, Will Brodie, either.
The question I think we're left with is, so given his near rookie price, do we just start him given his potential upside, hoping that he does enough to hold that spot, pivot if he's unseated? I think I was listening to Pod this week, and it was Louis who was talking about this idea of just not wanting to miss out on the potential in case it happens again. I mean, like last year, I didn't start Nod. I missed out on Nathan O'Driscoll, and for me personally, like I'm like in a position where I'm like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to miss Nod in case it happens again. And I suppose if after a couple of weeks he is unseated by Ollie Wines, maybe he's made 80 to 100K, which might be just enough to do a 1-up, 1-down situation with like a mid-pricer and him to a rookie and a primo or something at another line. So do we just start him given he's so cheap?
Yeah, I think we do. There's two other players here we're going to talk who are the ifs. If Will Brodie's not the guy, it could be these two. The other thing was Will Drew played really well. Will Drew, Ollie Wines, Will Brodie, they're kind of similar in the way that they structure up at stoppage, defensively, offensively as well. So can there be the three of them? Wines, Drew, Brodie? I don't think so. But yeah, Willem Drew was really good, I thought, in that game.
Well, you know Josh Carr's rule, right, for his midfield? You can't have two Wills. You can't have two Wills in there. There's only space for one.
Is that why he's on the top 10 list? For pressure calls.
Kate Corns has put him under pressure.
No wonder he's under pressure.
Absolutely rubbish coach. It makes me think of that. Do you remember that Simpsons episode where like Homer, it's like a flashback to Homer's childhood and he's being excluded from the treehouse, and there's like, he knocks on the door. He's like, "Oh, can I come in?" And the guy's like, "Sorry, no Homers." And he's like, "Oh, but Homer O'Sullivan's in there." He's like, "Well, we can have one." Like, closes the door on him. Nice. Oh, the two Wills. All right. So next name in the cage match, bringing his big right hook around. He's stomped into relevance. I know our mate Vams is a big fan. Harry Rouston. In fact, and I think Vams may have used the word near lock. I don't want to put words in the man's mouth. But anyway, Vams can come at me on Twitter if that's wrong. Pros. He averaged 73 adjusted for sub games last year. So it's like you look at his average for last year and it's got like a 51 next to it. And you're like, okay, whatever. But when you remove those sub games, this dude scores.
He scores.
Like, he's a good player when he's on the field. He's priced at like 52, I think. And he's 544,000. So he's pretty cheap. He's like, if you're not going to go with a Will Brodie, you could probably find the money to scrape your way up to a Harry Rouston and put him in there instead. That's 20 points of built-in upside from his break even to his adjusted average from last year. Add into that another preseason. He's had 2 to 3 years of experience in the twos, playing against men, kind of like where you were referencing on our rookie episode. He's a really good option at that low end mid price. And I think he for a lot of coaches, like I've been really playing with a structure of going super deep in my midfield. Like I kind of want, I think Jagger Smith currently is the only rookie on my field in my midfield line. And then it's like a Harry Rouston or something like that. So he offers flexibility in terms of structure. Cons. Oh, and he looks really good. Cons. Crowded engine room. But there is no Tom Green now. So that opens up opportunity. The problem is the team is also crowded with talent. So Lockie Ash has been known to run through the midfield. Toby Green, we've heard, could get some more midfield minutes. And we heard that before Tom Green went down. So is it simply just, it's Finn Callahan, it's Tom Green, it's Toby Green, and it's Clayton Oliver. Brent Daniels, another guy, your boy. So if he goes wrong, like, are there too many ifs? Are there too many ifs about a Harry Rouston to go there? And is there more security in another name, I guess?
Well, if I compare both, I've probably got more confidence in, say, the first 5 rounds that Harry Rouston at least has that security. What I really liked about his stoppage work was his body positioning, his awareness of where his opponent was, but his awareness of space. And he looked like he'd been in the midfield for a couple of seasons. He looked like a ready-made midfielder. He was in the right space at the right time. He was either outlet player, but he was also in and under as well. And he seemed to have that flexibility. So I liked what he brought to that midfield. And with those injuries, Green out, Callahan out, maybe a Toby Green, but who else can take that slot? Whereas a Will Brodie, I think there's 3 or 4 who could take that slot. I mean, I talked about Willem Drew, Butters, Rosie, Wines, Alec Berg. There's a number of names there. But at the moment with GWS, he just seemed locked and ready. And ready was the key word. He was ready to go. I liked it. I liked what I saw.
Do you think, this is sort of an aside, but there's been a lot of talk this preseason with GWS about, they can't play the same way they played last year. They relied too heavily on their transition out of their defensive 50, and the ball just spent too much time back there. While Lockie Ash and Lockie Whitfield worked really well together, do you think there's merit in the suggestion that someone like a Lockie Ash could spend a little bit more time in the midfield to kind of try and move that ball upfield a little bit more? Or do you think, no, it wasn't about the Ash-Whitfield combination. It was just, there were other problems in their system last year, and those two need to stay at halfback.
Yeah, I think they need to stay. I mean, having Lockie Ash secure halfback gives Whitfield the flexibility to push up into the wing, help out at stoppage. I mean, he just won man of the match at the Origin, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to take the man out. And I think there's other areas that with that fast transition, it's hard to then defend turnover. And that's always going to be the problem with the GWS with that tsunami is if there's a turnover, how do you defend that? And that's their biggest issue is their defensive game.
Next guy, Xavier Lindsay.
Yep.
So pros, he has a 2025 adjusted average of 61 fantasy points when you remove injuries, sub games, that kind of stuff. He's a top rookie selection last year, so he paid off for us. We all know he can play. There is lots. Some might say, someone from the 1960s might say, oodles and oodles of opportunity at the Melbourne Football Club this year. You got Track gone. No more Oliver. Viney's down. Bowie's down. Salem is now down. So there's plenty of opportunity for someone like Xavier Lindsay to make his mark. I mean, he could have a midfield role, but it seems like he's got that halfback role, and with no Salem and no Bowie, they're looking for someone to control that. Perhaps Trent Rivers.
Have you got news about Salem? He did play the second half. I
thought he was re-injured.
He was injured and managed, but he did come on. He did come on in the second half of that Praccie match.
My apologies. Okay, my bad. I thought Salem was potentially injured, like out for another few weeks or something. But cool. If he's not, excellent. That's my bad. My bad. So maybe not as much opportunity for Xavier Lindsay there. We'll move that to the cons. I think for me, my question with Xavier Lindsay this year is: are there too many potential breakouts at Melbourne in 2026? Like, we want Xavier Lindsay to break out. We want Harvey Langford to break out. We want Trent Rivers to break out. We want Caleb Windsor to break out. They can't all happen. They can't all happen. It's going to be one, maybe two of them if we're lucky, or it could be none of them. So where do you think he sits in that hierarchy of players at Melbourne in terms of his potential to actually kind of take a step this year and be a guy for us?
There's just so many question marks with Melbourne, and we're probably going to have to see more next week with community matches, because I just wanted to triple check that Christian Salem did play. He did play.
I knew he played. I thought he got like 7 points or something. And
then he hardly played. He only had 7 kicks, 38 AFL fantasy points. It just looked like Lindsay has that halfback role. Yep. Whether he pushes up to the wing once they start getting personnel back, or whether structures they've trained in preseason doesn't work, he might be the one to go. But out of all of them, as I said, with Langford playing mid-wing, with Caleb Windsor being more of an impact player, and Trent Rivers just looked like Trent Rivers.
Yeah,
I don't mean to be too negative with that, but Lindsay was the one that if that role is secure, he would be the person that I think maximizes AFL fantasy scoring.
And this is what we talk about each preseason, isn't it? Is that it's rollover points when we're looking at preseason games.
Yes,
it's like, do they have anyone can have a spike game and score a ton of points, but whether or not they score heaps of points, do they have the role that we're looking for that could give them capacity to achieve what they need to achieve in order to be a good pick in our fantasy team? And it's looking like he might have that, so that makes him a really interesting option. The final name in our cage match, delivering a left hook, is Finn O'Sullivan. Foss. This is an interesting one, and I'm excited about this one because
so am I.
Well, he's not being talked about, is he?
No, I thought he looked great. I really did. I thought he looked calm, composed. He had time. He was tough. He played tough, and that's exactly what the North midfield need.
100%. They need a guy in there who can just kind of take the bull by the horns. Look, do you think? How long's Woodlaw out for now? It's a while now, isn't it, given this latest hamstring thing?
Who knows? But it's just soft tissue again. Foss is priced at 53. 53 with a full-time mid-roll.
So cheap.
You could expect 25-point upside. Because I was originally looking at Dobeston, and Dobeston looked great, but he was playing at half forward. So if you compare score builds, I probably have more confidence in a Foss, perhaps as a midfield mid-pricer compared to Dobeston, who may drop a 20, may drop a 30, may drop a 40 just because of that half-forward role. And North's lack of ability to sustain forward 50 entries. I mean, there's still leaking points.
Do you say he's priced at 53?
53. 53.
So, I mean, you only need him to go... If you've got him as deep as like an M7, you only need him to go 70. Really? Which in a full-time midfield role, like you say, should be pretty achievable, I would think. You know, the other good thing about it is, so Wardlaw was out, but Sheezer was playing, LDU was playing, Powell was playing, Simpkin was playing, Parker was playing. All these other names who would either be permanent midfielders or part-time midfielders for North, all of them were playing, and Foss was still in there as a mainstay.
Yep. 60-odd fantasy points. So straight away in a Praccie game, with all of those players there, with some time off ground, again, he needs an extra 15 points.
Question for you. Do we need him? Do we need him to have a true breakout, or do we just need him to take a reasonable step forward? Because a second-year breakout is pretty uncommon, especially for a midfielder. But do we actually need a true breakout, or do we just need him, like we said, to kind of, get off to a decent start with like 15 points of upside?
Yeah, well, we talk about role, right? And he had the halfback role. But when you think about it, he was competing with a Caleb Daniel and McKercher. They're two pretty big mouths in terms of kick-ins, transition play.
Well, once.
And in a midfield, he's going to be there. He's going to be there. He's going to be in the midfield. So I think he got caught in no man's land a bit with that defensive setup last year. So it's certainly a watch. It is certainly just a watch, I think.
If you had to pick one of these guys today, who does your gut say? Or is there one of these guys who is currently in your team?
I've still got Will Brodie. Just due to, as you said, a couple of seasons ago, his ability to score and score really well. It's between Brodie and Rouston for mine. I want to see Rouston back that up. Absolutely, 100%. And in opening round as well. We're going to talk about it for the next 2 weeks. Opening round is going to dictate who we pick for these players, I think.
Yeah.
With cash generation kick-started, those type of things.
Totally. I've actually got both of them. I got Will Brodie and Harry Rouston in my team. I misspoke earlier. I said Harry Rouston was my M7. I've actually got Rouston and then Brodie as M6 and M7 with Jagger Smith at M8. So I've just been toying around with that structure. I don't know how I feel about that. It could be a bit too reliant on potential upside. But yeah, I think all these guys are fun. They're all fun, interesting options for us to look at. We'll chuck a poll up on Twitter. Let us know which one you think you're leaning more towards if you had to make a pick. We done? Is that it?
I think we're done. That was fun. Good to see footy.
Good. I know. It's exciting, isn't it? You can follow K-Man on Twitter at K-Man_TC Fantasy. You can follow me on Twitter at Contest Fantasy. Bit of an exciting announcement. Final mock draft lined up this week. And we have a big guest. We have the one and only Mitch Casey of the Ball Boys AFL Fantasy Podcast. See you there.